All right, update on Hideaway. So we've had her taken down from the Gold Coast and now put down on the land, and we're preparing to have her blasted. So we got a comprehensive survey, and on the survey it did mention there were some sort of delam up near the bow, which is often the case when a bow thrust has been put in aftermarket. You might get a little bit of movement there. And the previous owner said there had been repairs done to osmosis in the past, and it sounded like it had been reasonably well addressed. But you never know these things until you fully blast off the anti-foul and primer coatings. And this is where working with owners like Janet and Rob is fabulous, because they went, we love this boat, we want to love her right, and we want to do it once, do it right. And then working with Julian from J&C, he's very, he can be quite meticulous. I would say Julian, he may or may not like me saying this. I'll say he's probably a little bit slightly OCD when he comes to things. But yeah, once again, you can never really tell unless you actually blast the coatings off during the survey process, which is pretty invasive. I'd still recommend these surveyors. We used them. It was the first time I'd actually come across them up in Queensland. Really good. They did really good reports. Hideaway was mechanically fabulous. Really good. Engine in really good condition. Lots and lots and lots to be desired. It was just once taking that coating off, we went, it's a little bit more than we were expecting. Okay, so osmosis, let's have a look at this. This is a boat that's just been blasted back. Now, we've found a few things that there's been previous repairs done and bubbles being ground out, but unfortunately the repairs have been not great, because we've got, like here's a repair here where there's fiberglass mat that's been put in over gel coat. At least on this one they've actually used fiberglass, but over here there's been some other jobs done where they've just used some bog, and if you can see the pick there, it's sticking in, which means that that's not actually cured properly. And there's one here, and you can see there's actually moisture still coming out of that one, so that's a really bad repair. These repairs are okay, but they're not fabulous. Whoever's done this, that's just cowboy stuff, right? Straight up. So osmosis, what happens is you're getting moisture in between the fiberglass and laminate. Now, if there's a bubble here, I don't know if you can see that, but you can hear the change in note when I go across it. So there's a bubble here, we can hear it. So that's the change in note there. Now, if I was to pop that blister, which is what's going to happen anyway, because we're going to have to do all this, we're going to have to pop all these blisters. So if I was to pop that blister, let's go to a smaller one over here. Great. So if we come over here, there's some more blisters over here. Here's one I popped, and if you can see, it running close there, you can see that moisture coming out of there. So this is what we'll have to do, is pop all these, dry all this out. But that stuff there, it smells, that liquid, I'm trying to get on here, but it smells exactly like really strong vinegar on chips, because it's actually creating like an acid. So just, if you do pop blisters, don't get all over yourself. It is kind of like an acidic quality to it, but that just smells like vinegar on chips. So all these little blisters will all have to be popped. So what we're doing on this boat is we're going to grind, this is all going to be ground back. There's a few little things that we need to follow up on. Once again, if you come around here, on this side, there's a pretty shocking repair there. There's a pretty poor repair. You can see all these little bubbles here. These will all need to be ground out. We come around on this side. Yeah, we come around here. You can see there's quite a few little blisters. Now these little ones, these are okay. These are sort of surface. They can be ground back and things can be done. But this here, once again, absolute shocking repair. Look at that. That putty is still soft. So that's the problem. You get cowboys doing these kinds of jobs, and you end up with that. And that's only just filling a hole and then putting anti-foul over it. So it's just not going to work. So if we come back here, we can see these kind of blisters.
This stuff is all these tiny little blisters here, where it can push in and I can get the juice out of them. They're kind of cosmetic, but when you get into this, you can see they might be able to see distortion there. Hear the change? That is getting into deeper lamination, right? So there's a bigger blister there. They're the ones we're really got to attack. Yeah, just watch your fingers there. But they're the ones we've really got to attack and grind out. And they're the ones that have grind out and have got to be fixed like this. But whoever did these ones, these repairs here, not too bad. But you can see here, there's been a repair and then it's happened again. Yep. And then our cowboy mates have come back and had a bit of a go at that. And then here again, you see this? So this is what I'm saying, is there's contractors and then there's contractors. Yep, that's not how you do contractor works. That shouldn't just be hanging in there. That should be like, you see how they've done it here? It's not really sticking in, it's just glass. This is all going to be ground, so I'm not doing any real harm. But this here, you don't fill things with bog. You replace glass with glass. And then you do the top coating, top surfacing properly. So this looks pretty aggressive, pretty nasty, but we can sort it out. It's just, once again, time and money. So then the next thing we're going to do is have a look at getting the shafts coming out. There's new cutlass bearings happening on this boat, but osmosis, let's not go away from that, but osmosis is a bit of a killer. But these older fiberglass boats, yes, they do suffer from osmosis. They do really suffer from osmosis, but what we've found is once you get past that that initial layer of nastiness, you usually find that the glass in behind is still in really good nick. It's still not bad. I'm actually quite happy to see that once this is all blasted off, these fastenings aren't really compressed into that, because what you'll see if you have like a plywood transom, you'll often find that this is starting to compress in because the wood behind it is starting to suffer, and you get things like this compressing in, and you get the sort of, you can imagine that sort of effect of a button being pulled into a cushion. But these are nice and flat, so this is actually, this fills my heart with joy, this bit. But yeah, the amount of osmosis on here was, yeah, there was a survey done on this boat, and yes, you can't really see this kind of little bubbles under the antifoul. So you can't really, when purchasing a boat, you can't really ask for the whole boat to be yeah, there's another bit there, to be blasted off like this. Ideally you would, but it's not part of the purchase process, obviously. So yeah, here we go. We've got this little, so people look at this, go, oh, it's terrible, there's all these little blisters, but the ones that hurt the most are the ones that were this size, where these repairs have been done before. Oh, here we go. There's our cowboys again. Look at this. Look at this bloody cowboy stuff. Oh, God. This happens, this sort of cowboy operation here. The people who did this sort of work is okay, but this here, this just filling holes with putty. You can see here what's happened. The osmosis is just continued and increased around here. And that is why, and then that's going to, so all these repairs, all these will have to be redone. All this putty that's in there will have to be ground out and feathered back and then glassed over, and then, you know, so there's quite a lot of glassing going on. The difference between a boat repairer and a boat builder. A boat builder builds boats and knows the structure of boats. A boat repairer is someone who goes, I'll have a stab. And that's what's happened here. So even though the survey on this vessel said, you know, it was, you know, not great amounts of osmosis, and those bigger bubbles were the only ones that would have shown out, the ones I showed you, those larger ones. The setback on this is the level of shitty repairs that have been done in the past, and I mean shitty repairs. So, you know, if this boat had have had decent repairs and decent works done to it by decent contractors, the bill to repair this wouldn't be as healthy as it's actually going to be this time around.